Hi and welcome to WarHQ. My name is Lucius. On today's episode, what we'll be doing is a modified Epic Armageddon battle, and this will be part of a series of small skirmishes that we do using 1,500 points. So it's a modified sort of rule set where we just have primary objectives and secondary objectives and points scored for them. And it's on a half-size table, and I have about 3 to 5 teams, depending on how things go, that will be competing in this particular challenge. Now, currently, I'm sad hammering, so just as a disclaimer, so it is just me versus me, but that's just how it is at the moment. I'm quite remote at the moment, and we still have a lot of restrictions within our state, and the players that I normally play against are all in a different state than me, and I still can't enter that state. So until that time, it's going to be a bit of sad hammering, but these battles are pretty cool and pretty fun, and if you're a new player particularly, you'll get a lot about the rules. Hey, if there's anything I've missed in the rules, please let me know. I can miss things because, as I said, I'm back and forth. It is quite hard to balance all the rules in your head and still film and all these other things. We're still in a temporary location. I'm now in the bunker, as I call it, which is a cargo container, until I build my shed and proper studio. But if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to WarHQ. It takes you a second to do, means heaps to us here at the channel. Like, comment, all those things. Tell us what you like about Epic Armageddon, what sort of forces you like, and what you'd like to see here, because, I have a 3D printer. I can print anything I want, baby. So you tell me what you want on this channel, and I'll try and reciprocate. So for now, let's get started. Okay, we have a force here for the 1,500 point Mini-Geddon challenge that we'll be partaking in today. This force is the Ironed and Eldar. So the Ironed and Eldar, these are all original miniatures. These ones from different various incarnations of the game. There's a couple of different Guardians and stuff in there, and some of these were different coloured plastics. Some of them are originals in blisters, like these guys, but they're all original miniatures. And yeah, so they are in the challenge today. Now they have the Avatar, obviously, over here. So we've got the Avatar. We all know what he does. Now, there's a few units here for the war hosts, and we have 3. And they're all minimum strength ones. So we've got the Wraith Lords. So we've got 6 Wraith Lords here with the Spirits here. You guys know what they're good at. They're good at close combat. They're classed as vehicles, basically, so armored vehicles. So they're pretty hard to kill. Reinforced, really cool stuff. And then we also have 2 units of Wraith Guards, or Ghost Warrior Guards. So these guys are in units of 4, so we've got 2 of them right there and there. These are really good units. They've got 2 macro weapon attacks each, so that's 8 per unit of these. And they're also really hard to kill, having good armor and good saves. So thinking these are going to be quite good against any enemy really, and particularly tanks they'll be good against as well. We have a scout unit here of walkers, so we've got 4 war walkers. That's just to seize objectives and to screen off areas that we don't want to be taken by the enemy, obviously. We have some Guardians, so we've got a full unit of Guardians here, so 6 Guardians with the FARS here. You've got the support weapon platforms, 3 of those, and you have 1 heavy weapons platform as well, so they'll give them a little bit of extra punch. These things are a bit squishy. They are going to have to be put into woods and stuff like that because they do tend to die with no armor save pretty quickly. But that's what they are. And then we have, over here, we have like a troop. So we've got Swords of Vol. So what we have here is we have 4 Falcons and we have 1 Firestorm. That gives us a little bit of AA protection just in case again, because there's no aircraft in this force. So we'll see how that goes. But these are the Ironed and Eldar. Okay, so here's one of our 1,500 point challenge armies for the Mini-Geddon. And what we have first up is the Tyranids. You guys might have seen some of these. I 3D printed this entire force. And this is the result. But for this challenge, what we have is we have 2 Synapse Swarm formations. So there's this one over here, which have the Hive Tyrant, 2 Xeanthropes, a Gargoyle, and then 6 units of Hormagaunts. So you've got a bit of close combat there. You've got some anti-aircraft and a little bit of shooting with these guys if you need it. Fairly basic one there. The second Synapse Swarm formation is this one, which is my main unit, which has the Dominatrix, 4 units of Gargoyles, and then 6 units of Hormagaunts. Now this one obviously has the really good shooting and attacks with this. You've got backup shooting with this stuff, and then a bit of close combat, so it's fairly versatile too. Now I had to take those two. They're a minimum requirement. But moving on to the independent swarm formations, we have 2 units. So the first unit we have is the exocrine. So we've got a small unit here of 4. So 4 of these bad boys. You guys know me, I love those things. 2 shots, they're just your tanks, they're reinforced, they're great. And you also have a unit of 5 biovores down here as well. So these 5 guys are the light sort of vehicle option. They have indirect fire, which is good, and they can also disrupt. So I'm sort of just taking them for that and to capture objectives late game, hopefully, if I can do that, if I need it. So that's what they're for. And then the last thing we have in the unit is the Bio-Titan, and this is the smaller one. And this one, I'm using the 2 artillery strike options with its weapons, because I still think they're the best, and then it'll combine with this too, so then I'll get 3 artillery strikes between these 2 bad boys. And I think that is going to be pretty handy, because in these lower points, I'm assuming my opponent's probably going to be have a bit of infantry, some of the cheaper stuff, so hopefully that artillery stuff really gives these guys some sort of shooting edge, which would be great, because everything else is a little squishy, but that's okay. And that is my Tyranid force. Okay, so here is the board as it stands. I've kept it fairly balanced, because what I want to achieve here is sort of a fairly open strategic thing where no side has really an advantage on the terrain. And the way that I've done that, and this is a modified version of the game, for example, it's not the normal competitive scoring. So what I've got here, each side has a base, and this is going to be worth 2 victory points at the end of turn 3. And then there's this one up here. So they're the bases of operation, so they're worth 2 each for controlling that. Now, they also have a sub-base as well next to them, so there's this one, and then there's this one over here, which will be worth 1 VP at the end as well. So it's really just a dash. What are you going to do? You're going to defend, or you're going to attack, or a bit of both. So it'll be interesting to see how these forces perform. The board itself is half normal size, so she's fairly small, and that's so that the action can be pretty close and gruesome, because that's what we want. And I'll probably run the same format with board for a few of the games, because I think it'll just give you that balanced sort of viewpoint on this, and we'll see how we go. Okay, so as far as terrain goes, we have 2 lots of buildings. So this is here and the one at the end there. We have 2 cliffs, which is this one, and then we have this one as well. So these are quite steep cliffs. And we have these guys over here, which we're just going to class as woods, I think. So this one and this one are just going to be woods. So that'll give infantry a little bit of advantage, like with all these little places they can hide. And this one here we'll just class as a hill, I think, just as a straight up hill. I think things should be able to pass over that and shoot. But other than that, that is our terrain placement. Okay, so after deployment, the Iron and Eldar have actually lost initiative, rolling a 1 there, versus the Tyranids. You can see here they have a Guardian formation sort of in defense. We have one of our units over there of guards, another unit of guards, Wraith Lords, and then the Swords of All over here. So you can see they're getting ready for some flank movements and charges. Whilst meanwhile, on the other side, the Tyranids rolled pretty well on initiative. Probably not the turn they want to do it on, but it's not a bad idea anyway. So they got a 5. They actually won with their 1 strategy rating. You've got your big boy up here, Hiridul. You've got a big unit over here with the Dominatrix and Gargoyles. You've got these guys here. You've got the smaller unit here looking like a bit of a defensive unit, and you've got your Biovores as well down here. So it's going to be interesting. Similar kind of forces in a way, but both very different skills and abilities. So let's see how we go. Forgot to mention that the Iron and Eldar scouts, they're walkers placed up in these buildings, being a scout unit. Okay, the Biovores have done a double move, and they've managed to get up into these buildings. Meanwhile, a unit of Wraith Guard take their activation and do a march move, 3 moves, all the way over into here, into these woods. And dangerously close here to these Biovores who have already activated and given themselves a little protection out there as well. Okay, so the Dominatrix and its Synapse Swarm have done a double move, and then they're going to shoot. The only thing that can shoot is the Dominatrix with its missile. Basically, it's barrage attack. Everything else is hidden. So it's going to choose one of these. I'll just choose that one to barrage over there. I've spread these guys have been spread out a bit so that they're harder targets for this specific thing. Now he's -1 to hit. It's a macro weapon, so they won't get an armor save, but they are in cover there. So there'll be a 5+. They're normally 6, but they won't get to reinforce that, which they do have. And this guy is at -1 to hit, so it's going to be their infantry. So it's going to be classed as, it's going to be a 5 up to hit. So that's a 6. That's a hit. So these guys get their save and do not save, and so that one is toast. And these guys receive 2 blast markers. One for coming under fire, one for losing. The Eldar Wraithlords do a triple move over to here, and they are positioned behind this terrain feature. Okay, so these Exocrines here have done a double move to here, and now they're going to shoot. From where they are here, they can only see this guy and this guy. So there's going to be 8 shots raining down there. They normally have an AT, because these are vehicles. They normally have an AT of 5, but that goes to 6. So there's 8 shots, 6 ups to hit. We have 2 hits out of 8. Now these guys have a 4 armor save and reinforced. Both save, so that does Zippo. The second unit of Wraith Guard do a double move, a triple move, sorry, and get themselves over here into the buildings. The Synapse Swarm here has done a Overwatch move, so they are just overwatching in this spot here. Likewise, on this side, the Eldar have decided to overwatch with these Guardians, which is going to leave these guys to be able to move last after the Titan. Okay, so in a pretty bold move, the Bio Titan does a single move up from the hill, comes down to this little position here, and he is going to bomb the absolute crud out of these things over here. So he has 2 weapons. The first one is the Bio Launcher. So the Bio Launcher has a 60 centimeter range and 3 BP, so that's just one of these. Now, I think I'm going to put it there, and I'm going to get... Actually, no, I'll go there. So I hit 2 units. So it's going to be these 3 Wraith Guard, and then this 1 Walker. So let's see what effects we have there. So this is on the Walker. All of it's 4 up to hit, because he only moved once. Okay, so the Walker is hit. I'll just put that there. And then the 3 4-ups on the Wraith Guard, only 1 hit. So 1 Wraith Guard and 1 Walker, so it'll be these 2. Okay, so the Walker, this isn't a macro weapon, so he's in buildings cover, so he's got a 5-up save. He saves. He's okay. And this Wraith Guard, but he does come under fire, which puts him on 3, which will break the unit at the end of this. And this Wraith Guard has a 4-up. Fails, but it's reinforced and makes it on a 4. So he's okay, but they do come under fire as well, and they receive 1 blast marker. And the second weapon that this guy has is Cluster Spine. So they have a 45 centimeter range, which these guys are within. They're all within. It's a 4 BP strike, which gives me 2 templates. So what I might do is I'll just hit everyone there. I can pretty much do it in any way I want there to get those 6 guys there. So let's do that. I'm going to start on the War Walkers, so they're 4-ups to hit. Both miss. So that's lucky for them. They're already broken, so I'll move them after this, obviously, but they would be on 4 blast markers. And the 4 attacks on the Wraith Guard, 3 hits. Automatically, that puts that to 2 blast markers. So they've got a 4-up save and then a 4 reinforced. So 1 saves, and then 2 need reinforced rolls, and both die. Ouch. Okay, so 2 Wraith Guard bite the dust, and that puts them on, well, that breaks them basically. So both those units will be broken, and I'll move them now. All right, so the Savage Bio Titan with his artillery strikes has cleared both those units He killed 2 Wraith Guards, so that's pretty big. But he did manage to break both those units, so they've all retreated back over there. So that's a very good start, and that clears up this terrain feature for them. So the Falcons here have decided in their last move to take a bit of initiative. What they've done is they've moved up just a single move up beside these guys. Thankfully they're very fast, and they're all going to fire upon these Exocrons out in the open here. So this could hurt, and this is how you use these guys, because they are quite squishy, but they're good on the attack. So what we have, let's start with the Falcons. So they've got 2 pulse lasers each, AT4, so that's 8 shots, 4 ups to hit. Let's go. So all right, that was pretty bad, only 3 of those hit. Then they each have a scatter laser as well, which is AT5. So there's another 2 hits. And then the Firestorm has 2 shots at AT5. Both miss. So we've got 5 hits. So basically, yeah, 2 on one and 1 on each of the others. So this guy's got the 2. He's got 4 up armor save. Makes both, so he's cool. And then these guys all have an armor save. They all fail, and then reinforced. 1 makes it and 2 die. So 2 die right there. They come under fire. That would give them a total of 3 blast markers, but it makes them up to 2 because they're broken, and they will retreat. So let's go back. They pretty much go back the way they came, from whence they came. So with their movement, they get to there, and they are broken. So that was a pretty decent move there by the Eldar. So end of turn 1 cleanup, we need to rally. So these guys over here, these Wraith Guard, have a 2 up. They get it, and they are not taken by blast markers anymore. The only other ones we really have are, let's have a look over here. We've got a broken formation. These guys have a 1 up initiative, but they're broken, so 3 up. They roll a 6. They're not broken anymore, but they still have 1 blast marker because that goes to half. And we have 2 units of Eldar over here. So one is the Walkers there, 4 up. They make it. So they're out. They go to half. So they've just got blast markers now. And then these guys, Spirit Guards, they make it as well. So they're not broken as well. That's handy. And they're back to 1 blast marker. So looks like everything's back in the mix. An important turn for initiative. The Eldar roll a 4, plus their 4 is 8. The Tyranids get a 1, plus their 1 is 2. So the Eldar have the initiative. Okay, so the Eldar have decided that pretty much the only way they're going to win this fight is if they can take down some of these big boys. So they've seized the initiative with their Swords of All and come in right behind the Bio-Titan, who's now in the open to them. It's put them in a pretty precarious situation because they've got enemy on their right flank, and then obviously the enemy in front of them. So they have a lot of shots though, and it really all comes down to dice rolls at this point to see how they go, I guess. So everything's going into that Bio-Titan. The first shots we have are the pulse. No, where are we here? Yeah, pulse lasers. So they have 2 each at AT4. Okay, so what do we got here? Quite a few hits. So we've got 5 hits out of those 8, which is a good start. Then we have 4 shots with their scatter lasers at AT5, sorry. That's another 2 hits. And then we have the Firestorm, which has 2 shots at AT5 as well. Both miss. So over here for the Bio-Titan, we have 7 shots. So it has a 4 armor save, and it is reinforced as well. So let's see how we go here. Not very good saving. So one of those was saved. So now it has 6 reinforced. Ouch, this could actually kill. It has 4 damage capacity. Oh, very, very lucky. Okay, so it saves 4 of those and takes 2 damage. Now it has 2 damage left because it has 4, but it did come under fire. 1 for the hit and 2 for that. So it is on 3. It is not quite broken yet. It has 1 point left to break. Could have been a bad move. Who knows? Let's see what happens. All right, this is what I thought might happen, and the Titan is going to get revenge. It charges in here with an engage order. The spacing of these things has actually killed it because it's been able to move in between all of them. So they're all pretty much within base contact. So now it's just a matter of raining death. Now it has 2 Titan killer attacks. It's got a 3-up weapon skill here, so let's do the Titan killer attacks first because they'll just automatically kill something. So one thing is automatically dead with no save, and then it has 4 normal attacks each point, 3-ups, all hit. Okay, so let's say we'll kill the Firestorm. The Firestorm's dead automatically with a Titan killer attack. And now these guys have to make, all the Falcons need to make saves because they've been hit. So let's have a look at the Falcons. What we're looking at here is a 5+ save with no bonuses. So this could hurt. So here's 4 saves with the Falcons. 2 survive, and the other ones go down. So 2 go down, 2 survive. All right, and now let's just keep that in mind as we go forth, because there's 5 attacks coming back at the Titan, but they're all 6-ups to hit. 0 hits back from the Falcons, which is going to hurt. Okay, so now we tally up the actual scores here. This would, let's have a look here. Okay, just round up this combat. We roll for the guys. The Eldar rolled 1, the Titan rolled 2. It killed more. It is bigger because it has 4 wounds, and there's only 2 wounds left on the table for the Eldar, so there's +2. The Eldar came into this with no blast markers. Okay, so it's pretty much doubled it, but what that is so it's 4-2. But the problem is now that these guys, because of the 2 difference in the dice roll, these guys die retreating. So that whole unit is wiped out by the Bio-Titan. All right, on this same sort of aggressive pact, the Wraith Lords make a move forward, a single move, and then they put all of their lance shots, so their bright lances, into this Titan. It's only got 2 more wounds, so they're hoping to finish it off with this volley, sticking with the original plan. All right, so 3 shots from the lances hit. Now with the lance, reinforced armor targets do not receive that re-roll for the reinforced. So basically this Titan has to make 3 saves, and it has to make 2 of them or it's going to die. Okay. And it it fails one. It comes under fire for a start, and it fails one. So, oh man, it's still on 1 wound. But it has reached 4 with blast markers, so it does need to make a retreat order. There it goes, 24, so it can go back to here. So the old Bio-Titan's wounded, pretty heavily wounded. Eldar are throwing everything at it that they can, but it's still in the game. Okay, the Exocrines move. They do a martial move, so they move and then they try to martial. 2 6s, no longer affected by that. Okay, so the Wraith Guard get nasty. They do a single move down to here, and they're going to attack these Biovores, which are in cover, so they get a -1, but these guys have 2 shots each, bring them up to 8 in total. And if they hit, they will not get saves, these guys, because they are macro weapons. Okay, so we have 3 hits. 3 hits with macro weapons. These guys don't have reinforced, so 3 of them die. That should be the first 3. Now that is enough to break them, so they will make a retreat move as well because there's only 2 left. They now have 4 blast markers, so they retreat back out of the way over there, and that is that. Okay, so what we have here is our Synapse form has decided to abandon this spot up here and has rushed down to there to grab this point and to put more pressure on these guys. Now they've taken this and they're going to take just a couple of pot shots. So we've got a Hive Tyrant there within 30 of these guys. Normally has an AT of 5, but it's -1 because he did the double move. So he misses. But they do get 1 blast marker coming under fire. So it's not totally useless. And then these guys, these two Xeanthropes, are going to try and shoot at these guys. Again, minus and no hits, but again, gives these guys 1 blast marker. Okay, these Wraithguard have done a martial move, so they move here, and then they roll to martial, and they get a 4 and a 1, so that's easily, so that is gone. And that is those guys. Okay, and a super active nastiness. These guys decide to do a double move, and instead of like just sitting comfortably over in the housing over here, what they've decided to do is do a double move and push up to maybe try and get this in the next turn. And I'll show you why in a second. Let's see what we can do. So this, it's all about the dominatrix at the moment. None of these guys can do anything. So it is at -1 because we did a double move. It has Bio-Titan Biocannons. It's got an AP4 versus these 3. It's got 3 shots, and that goes to an AP5. So we get 1 hit. And the Warwalkers, they're going to have to make a save, which they fail, and they have a reinforced, which they fail. So we're going to lose a Warwalker, come under fire. So that makes that 3, and those guys are broken again, which is nasty. So they will get them out of the way first. So they're just going to keep fleeing. It's apparently all they can do as Warwalkers is just get shot and flee. Okay, so we'll give them a flee order there. Okay, and now what we're going to do with our last attack is we are going to use our Energy Pulse, which is a 3 BP macro weapon. So these guys are in range. I'm going to hit all 5 of those out in the open. So we're going to go 5 strikes. And it's a 3, so what are we needing? We are needing a 4 up to hit infantry. 5 attacks. This could be brutal. Okay, so 3 hits. So I guess we will go the Eldar, like these are the 3 closest. So 3 of these guys get hit. They have no armor save, and it's macro anyway, so they lose 3 dudes. Okay, so that is 4 blast tokens for the Elder Guardians, who are now in a bit of a dire situation. So the Dominatrix has nearly cleared its way to the enemy base, eliminating these little suckers. Okay, the Eldar are in a bit of a position here, so what they decide to do is they are going to do a martial move, but what they're going to do is fire. There's only one of these support turrets in range, unfortunately, which is this guy over here. I may as well just fire that. He has a macro weapon, which is a 5+, but that actually goes to a 6, so he fires that and misses. But the only consolation there is these guys get 1 blast marker for coming under fire. And as far as the marshalling goes for these guys, they roll a 3, so this puts them down to 1 blast marker. Right, so end of turn 2, we're just cleaning up a bit here. These guys need a 3 to be able to recover. They do not. All right. What happens over here is this guy has regeneration. So he goes to 2 wounds. He was on 3. And then tries to rally. Rolls a 5 and does. So he goes down to 2 blast markers. And is now back in action, baby. These guys over here do a roll and they clear that one. Same with these guys over here, they make their roll and clear that blast marker. Now, these Warwalkers, let's have another go. Cock dice. They make their roll. So they're back in the game on 1 blast marker. These guys over here make their roll and they remove that blast marker. And finally, these guys over here make their roll and remove that blast marker. So that's how we're looking at the end of turn 2. Let's see if we can get a victory, which I'd say we're looking pretty close to it. Let's see, this could be the last turn. Right, super important initiative roll. Eldar roll 4, which puts them on 8. Tyranids get a 6, but puts them on 7, so they still lose. So very important one to win, and the Eldar have won it. Okay, with very little option over here to save themselves, these guys go on to Overwatch with the Guardian Squad as their first move. It was a hard one to choose. Okay, the Exocrines do a march triple move over to this particular secondary objective. Alright, the Wraithlords decide to get super sneaky and grab this objective. They do a triple move, and 2 of their guys just make it to this objective. So this could be clutch. Okay, in a last dash of desperation, the Biotitan does an engage order on these guys, who then subsequently all move in to mob him. Because he's a multi-wound character, he can have this many around him. So this is going to be quite a nasty little combat experience, and they'll probably decide the outcome of the game. Okay, so we start with the Biotitan. He has 2 Titan killer attacks with his claws, so they go first. Both hit. So 2 of those Wraithlords are going to be dead already with Titan killers. Now, 4 normal attacks at 3 ups, and 3 of those hit. So that's a lot of hits on the Wraithlords. So let's see how they fare in return. So, as I said before, 2 of them automatically expire because of the Titan killer weapon. So the claws just rip them apart with no saves, even with reinforced. So that's those 2 dice. And then the other guys all get saving throws. So the 4 ups all save. Okay, that helped them a lot. Now, in return, this is where it gets a bit ugly. They've got 6 macro weapon attacks with their claw or their power fists, and they have a combat ability of 3 up. So this is going to hurt. All right, so we have 5 hits with the macro weapons, so there'll be no reinforced with those ones, and then they have another 6 attacks with regular weapons. Let's have a go here. So another 6 attacks just with regular at 3 ups, and they've got another 3 normal hits. Okay, so let's do this in stages. So the regular hits, the Biotitan has a 4 up and then a reinforced, so fails 2, and then with the reinforced makes 1, so he still takes 1 damage. That puts him on 3. So he's only got 1 wound left, so the chances of surviving this are pretty slim. 5 saves he's needing, 4 ups. So he only makes 1, fails 4, so the Biotitan is destroyed. That's pretty big this late in the battle. And 2 dead Wraithlords there. Alright, so the Tyranids have decided to go gangbusters and have done an engage order. They've engaged this guy. This guy will consolidate to here to get into the attacks as well. But it does trigger this crossfire. So, oh, sorry, not the crossfire, sorry, the overwatch of these guys, which was a good move. Okay, so we've got 4 normal Guardians, which have a, what have they got? I've got a 4 up. So 2 hits from the Guardians. This is before the combat starts, by the way, on Overwatch fire. And then we have the support weapon platforms. They have a macro weapon 5+ is 3 of those. Okay, so 1 of those hits as well. So, okay, so basically these guys run in and they lose 3 units. Dung, dung, dung. First 3 there from shooting. And that gives them 4 blast markers before the combat starts. Okay, so it's going to be a bit of a cluster of a fight here. So what we'll do is we'll start with the Wraith Guard. They're a bit easier. They have 2 macro weapon attacks and 2 normal attacks at 4 up. So macro weapons 1 hits. The normal attacks both hit. Okay, so that's their round. So they can only really kill in close combat here, so that'll be just those guys dead, right? Pretty much, they don't have a save anyway. So those 2 will be dead. In retaliation, what we have is, I've got 4 blast markers here. I will repress 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got 1 gargoyle and I'll take that shot now. And that's a miss. And then I have 3 shots from the Dominatrix here with the Titan Bio Cannon. It shoots, all 3 hit. Okay, that's handy. So we have that, the Gargoyle missed, and then these 2 still get to close combat. And 1 hits, 1 misses. Okay, so let's have a look here. None of those have any sort of macro effect, so you've got 2 hits on each of these bases. So the first one fails both and then makes both. Second one fails both and then fails both, so he's dead. And then those 2 are dead. The resolution of this, the Eldar have a +2, the Tyranids have a +3. Eldar roll, Tyranids win by 2, and that will win them that particular combat. Okay, so these guys are fearless, so they don't suffer any losses. They would have died otherwise, but they do make a withdrawal move over to here, and they are broken. Okay, seizing that initiative and still going forward, the Wraith Guard do an engage order on this sign-up swarm, and the sign-up swarm surrounds it basically with our shooting stuff on the outside. So this is going to be quite an interesting little combat here. We'll start with the probably the easiest way to go. Again, is just to start with the guards themselves. So the Wraith Guards, they've got a 4 up. And what we have going on is we have 4 macro attacks and 4 normal attacks. So on 4 up, so the 4 macro attacks, 2 hit. And then the 4 normal attacks, 1 hits. So it's not great, but there's 2 macro strikes there. But all 3 of those shots will kill 3 guys, basically. So 3 of these are dead. Now, in retaliation, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys in close combat there. And they need 3 ups as well, being the Hormagaunts, which are quite classy, really. Okay, so that's 4 hits there from the Hormagaunts. Now we've got a shot here from the Gargoyle, which hits as well. So there's a Gargoyle hit as well, so they're normal hits. Let's keep going with our shooting here. We have the Hive Tyrant. So the Hive Tyrant is looking with its Venom Cannon. So it has an AP of 4. It adds in there and misses. And then we have the 2 Zeothorps, which have a macro weapon Warp Blast at this range. So one of those hits. So we've got a macro strike over here. And we have 5 normal strikes. So we'll do the macro first. So he's got a save, and he saves, so the macro does nothing, and then 5 normal strikes, 5 saving throws, and then 2 reinforced. They all save. Okay, so not a single dead dude there. So, but what happens though is the Tyranids lose 3 of these guys. So it's a loss of 3. Killed 3 for a loss of 0. All right, so with the actual resolution, the Eldar have they killed 3. And they had no blast markers, so there's +4 to them. And the Tyranids, they had no blast markers, so that's 1. And they have more units, so +2. So +4 to +2. And the Eldar have won by 1. So it's pretty close. So these guys lose another unit there before they're broken. And they retreat. These guys retreat back, probably going that way, having lost the close combat, but still in pretty good shape otherwise. And they are dead. And the consolidation, these guys just all move into the buildings here and laugh hysterically. There's just sort of a last storming action. The Knight, what are these guys? These War Walkers just rock up. 1 suppressed. These guys down here, 1 suppressed, and they're going to just take a shot at these, try and clear them off the point. And best way to do this is to shoot. So what we have is a scatter laser, which has an AT5, which goes to 6, which is a miss. And then we have a bright lance, which is AT5, which goes to 6, which is a miss. Now that gives these guys 1 blast marker, but does not break them, unfortunately, which was the idea with that. Cleaning up at the end of turn 3, we have our Wraith Lords. They make a roll, and with an enemy within... Oh, it's a broken enemy, so it doesn't matter. So they do. That goes down to 1. These guys try to rally. Normally they've got a 1, but it goes to 3, and then they've got these guys within 30, so it goes to 4, and they actually make it. So they are back. They are back, baby. Not that it's probably going to matter at this stage. These guys over here, got their synapse with them. No one's within... Oh, we've got 1 unit within 30, so it's going to be a 4 again. They fail, so they're still broken. Moving over to here. These guys make it easily, so that is gone. And these War Walkers have a 2, enemy within 30, so a 3, they make it. That is gone. Around here, we have these broken dudes down here. They make it, so they're back. And we have the big squad up here. Wow, big roll makes it. So halves that to a 3. And let's see how we went. So looking at the end of turn 3, we do have a victor, and it is the Ironed and Eldar. Now, looking at the points they have 2 points for capturing this. They have 1 point for capturing this. And they have 2 points for holding this over here, so that is 5 points for the Ironed and Eldar. Meanwhile, the Tyranids managed to maintain 1 of these secondary objectives for 1, so it is 5 points to 1 victory for the Eldar. In a pretty back and forth battle. I mean, probably lost equal amounts of troops when you look at it. Could have gone a different way. A couple of mistakes made with the Tyranids. One mistake I made there was moving these guys over there instead of attacking these lancers over here, these Wraith Lords. I could have maybe halted their advance so that they couldn't have done a triple move over to here. Also, my main unit behind this thing over here, I probably could have done a little bit more there, where maybe instead of assaulting, I just come forward, shot, and then used all my BP attacks to maybe try and break this formation over here, get that off the board. But I didn't have the movement to be able to get in there anyway, so that made that a bit difficult. But overall, pretty good game, and that's that. So there you have today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be doing a bit of a series on this one. I'm currently painting some Space Marines at the moment as well, the Imperial Fist chapter. I think you guys would have seen those 3D models that I did recently. So I will be including those in these battles as well. But for now, I'll go on and go for the next battle, which will probably include the Emperor's Children. So probably Emperor's Children versus Ironed and Eldar. If they can knock them out and I can paint the Space Marines in time, then that'll be probably the 4th battle, will be whoever wins that versus them. So if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to the channel. It takes you a second to do. It means heaps to us here at WarHQ. Thank you so much for watching this content. We really appreciate it. If you like it, yeah, comment down below, like, share, all those kind of things. But for now, we're WarHQ, you're you, and we're signing out.